Yeah.
Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about The Marvels, directed by Nia DaCosta, starring Brie Larson, Teyonah Parris, Iman Vellani, Zawe Ashton, and Samuel L. Jackson. Of course, this is the sequel to Captain Marvel from 2019, which I'm going to be very upfront with you, I was not a huge fan of. I thought it was one of the most bland MCU offerings that they've ever had. And also, this serves as a continuation on the story of Miss Marvel, which I'm going to say right off the bat, I don't understand how people were being less than positive on the show. I think Miss Marvel is a great character, the character of Kamala Khan, played by Iman Vellani. I thought it had some of the most deep, rich cultural character development that we have seen. The way it was integrated into Kamala Khan's story was really, really moving, touching. And look, I mean, yeah, the show had its flaws. It's a Marvel property, of course it's going to. But regardless, I don't understand the overwhelmingly, well, maybe not overwhelmingly negative reception, because it was well received, but it's not a bad show at all. I'm just going to put that out there. And this is also a continuation on WandaVision, yet again, another show, where Monica Rambeau, played by Teyonah Parris, obviously, you know, has her powers now. She's going to team up with them. Yeah, whatever. So, let me be upfront. This movie sucks. This is the worst Marvel movie of all time. And look, it's not like I'm hating this movie. I really don't. There's a lot of things that work, especially Iman Vellani. You're going to be hearing a lot of people praise her. You're going to hear people saying they found her annoying. And as much as I love her character, I did find in certain moments that she was a bit grating. Very few moments, of course, because I think a lot of it has to do with the humor and the script. We'll get into that. But she is great overall. I mean, there's no denying that she's talented. And for me personally, I really love this character. And I certainly hope they don't drop her after this, because I really want to see what happens in Kamala Khan's next story and what they do with her character. One thing that I didn't like about the first film that is a massive improvement is Brie Larson as Carol Danvers. I think her acting was much better in this. I mean, she's an Academy Award-winning actress for Room, obviously, which she's amazing in. And I didn't think she ever really found her footing as this character. She comes into a bit more. Doesn't mean the writing's great, but I liked her in it. Teyonah Parris is kind of alright as Monica Rambeau. I liked her a lot more in WandaVision. They gave her a lot more interesting things to do from an acting standpoint and from a character standpoint. And of course, Samuel L. Jackson does nothing in this movie. So that's another thing we may or may not get into, but let me just make that clear right off the bat. But I will say I love Kamala's family. Every time they're on screen, I absolutely love their presence, and the film is more funny, and it's better because of it, to be quite honest. But look, I'm going to put it this way. Like, I was very torn on what score I was going to give this film coming out of it, because I didn't feel like it absolutely sucked, because I enjoyed watching it. But also, I enjoyed watching Rise of Skywalker, and that's one of the biggest fucking pieces of shit that has come out in the past few years. Alright? So, it doesn't make this a good movie. It's fucking bad. It just, the more I think about it, the more things don't come together. This script is so incoherent in every single regard. Like, there's some great ideas, right? The teaming of these three, I think their chemistry works. There's some great sequences where they're trying to figure out their powers, because one of the big things in this movie, they keep swapping places whenever they activate their light energy. None of the rules make sense in this movie, but they do play around with this in a very cool and clever way. Got some really cool action sequences that could have been better if the editing could focus on what was actually fucking happening. So that's a whole other thing within itself. That was a problem watching these scenes, but I did have fun. I did enjoy the creativity, the little of it that there was, that went into these sequences, and it made it very entertaining. I was entertained by this movie. I'm not going to sit back and act like I wasn't. You know, it was fun to watch at points. But my goodness, I'll tell you, there's this one thing that happens. There's this one sequence in the movie that is single-handedly the worst, abysmal fucking thing I've ever seen in any Marvel movie. Like, it is atrocious. And you'll know what I mean if you go and see this movie which I wouldn't recommend you do unless you really want to see all the Marvel movies, then okay. But it genuinely was so utterly offensive and absolutely cringeworthy. I was literally just in my seat with my hand on my face, just absolutely not wanting to fall on the floor. I wanted to look away, but I couldn't. It is really bad, and it makes no sense at all. Like most of this film, it doesn't make any sense. And look, let's get to... I'm going to jump around as much as this movie does, okay? But hopefully you can follow me a bit better. The villain, Darben, played by Zawe Ashton. There's nothing to her. Maybe the worst Marvel villain of all time. Well, maybe not the most offensive, because she didn't really piss me off as some of the other stupid Marvel villains, but she's at the very bottom of the barrel, at the very least. Yet again, when she comes on screen, she just explains, oh, I'm evil because of this, and it's just exposition to the audience, and it felt like every single scene in this movie was exposition for the most part, and I really don't understand for the life of me why it was so hard to come up with a story for this. It should have been a TV series. It should have been a continuation of Miss Marvel, but because Captain Marvel is such a big thing for them, they have to make a movie about her, and I don't think that's the case, because if you're really wanting to make a quality product and a quality story, don't rush this out. Don't throw together a haphazardly woven together script that makes no sense. You don't even explain the rules of the world, and to just put it out in the theaters. That's very, very offensive to the art of filmmaking. I mean, not that Marvel's some high art. I'm not acting like that, but look at the first Iron Man movie. Jon Favreau, great director, great writer. You got Robert Downey Jr. in an iconic role. And they told a very, very cohesive, concise, moving, and compelling story that was essentially like a character study of sorts. And, I mean, it's not really hard to tell a story. But when you're trying to tie in all these different things, and then just saying, oh, well, we have to have something together. Yet again, I know I haven't complained about this as much, but this is another instance of the Mary Sue syndrome, where Captain Marvel randomly has powers that she's like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, and then she just does things. And you're like, wait, what? Like, there's no build-up at all to a lot of things that happen in this movie. And yet again, her character falls flat. I'm sorry, I want to like this character, but the writing for Captain Marvel, it just is so unsatisfactory that every time I just walk away disappointed. Like, what was the point? Like, why couldn't we fleshed her out more? I guess I liked her outfits, you know, she's wearing randomly in the movie, but I mean, come on, now I'm reaching for straws. And I thought that the dynamic between her and Monica Rambeau, as petty as it was from Monica's side, could have been a lot more fleshed out. But they kind of throw that a lot away to let's get to some shitty action no one cares about. And yeah, that's going to be alright. Okay, cool. Alright, let's forget about all the character stuff, even though they touch on it a little bit. Well, some things I thought really worked was, yet again, I'm going to bring up Iman Vellani as Miss Marvel, but, you know, the fact she's such a fangirl of Captain Marvel, sometimes it's a bit overbearing, but their dynamic when she's getting to know her, it feels pretty genuine, and it did work out very well. I think the relationship that they developed by the end of the movie, I thought that was quite nice. The stuff with Kamala's family, always loved them. That's nice, too. Also, there's another stupid subplot that happens in this movie that seems like it's for toddlers. I just think it's so dumb, something that happens in this film, and you're either going to be in it or you aren't. And this is really why, like, the more I talk about this, the more I don't like it. So I think that should, you know, really tell you a lot, and why I think I've settled into the score I'm going to give this film. But Marvel needs to get their shit together, because we can't keep disservicing these actors, these very, very talented actors, who are very, very lackluster, unfocused project that feels like it was written by AI at certain points, because they aren't weaving all these things together in a way that feels very true to the story. And it's just a bummer, because I don't think a film like this deserves this type of quality being thrown into it. I also think that, you know, for how big this film is and what it sets up in the MCU, yeah, I mean, the post-credit scene is really, really important. Okay, but what about the rest of the movie? No, it's not. And that's the sad thing about this, is just everything is rushed through to the point where we don't have enough time to really focus on what needs to be done. Yeah, there's some cool action sequence. Yeah, it's very watchable, if you ask me, in my opinion. But this is why I am sick of this shit. We can't keep accepting this lackluster corporate product is just thrown together. And sure, you could say all the Marvel movies are corporate products, but even some of them that are have a lot of thought and character depth put into them, like something like Spider-Man No Way Home, which I absolutely love, one of my favorite movies of that year. So, I don't know. I'm just sick of this, and I hope going forward with stuff like Captain America, Brave New World, and Blade, I really think they need to focus, and Blade has had so many issues. The fact it's rated R gets me at least a little bit excited. But, yeah, Marvel's really fallen flat on their face. I don't want to say this is the end of the MCU, because I do like a lot of these characters that have been set up, and I do like where they're going, perhaps, but yet again, it's like, are they really going to fulfill their promise on what they set up? That's the biggest issue with Marvel right now. They could, you know, before Avengers Endgame, but ever since, not really. And I would hate to see all this work thrown out the window because people just want to make some money and don't even put thought into making money. It's really, really disheartening, and yeah, this movie sucked. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Go see it if you want to. If not, you're not missing much. I don't know. They all deserved better. But, you know, this is what we got. So, alright. Anyway, glad there's only going to be one Marvel movie next year, which is Deadpool 3. And I can't wait to talk about that one. That one I'm actually very much excited for, but still worried about with the strike and everything and them not being improvised. Hopefully they do reshoots. Now, that is a movie reshoots would be necessary and welcome. But anyway, yeah, let me know what you think about Miss Marvel that's how much I care about this movie. Let me know what you think about the Marvels down below. And yeah, tell me what you think about the current state of the MCU. Can they bounce back if they really focus their energy and attention to story? I don't know. I think that there's a possibility. But right now we're experiencing a lull that is really unfortunate to be seen in the MCU. They could sink lower than this. I hope they don't. But, you know, there's always a possibility. So, yeah, guys, let me know what you think. I'll talk to you later. All right, bye.